Joining me now, one of the lawmakers pushing for a fiscally responsible border wall and a friend of the show, Texas Congressman Will Hurd, who of course his district, if I'm not mistaken, Congressman, spans over 800 miles of the border. Thank you for joining us, sir.
It's always a pleasure being on.
You've been fairly vocal on your efforts. You say it's not necessarily a physical wall, but it is much more than that. Explain to our viewers what you're proposing, and of course you have quite a bit of support.
Sure. So we should have a smart wall. I think Americans are frustrated that it's 2017 and we haven't been able to secure our border. And the reason we haven't been able to secure it is that we try to have a one-size-fits-all solution to border security. You can't do that. Every mile is different. And we should be utilizing the best technology. We can have sensors along the border that tells the difference between a bunny rabbit and a person. We can deploy a drone to detect a warning and track that until we're able to deploy our most important resource, our human capital, the men and women in Border Patrol, in order to do interdiction. That entire process can be done with computer vision, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and it's a fraction of the cost of a physical barrier.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is how are you going to sell this? Is it going to be be price? Is it going to be the environment? Is it going to be that this is not going to disrupt commerce that goes back and forth? Because if I'm not mistaken, there are parts of the border that are open that's a necessity. It needs to be open. It behooves us that it's open.
Absolutely. This is something that there's parts of the border like Santa Elena Canyon within Big Bend National Park. It's already a physical barrier, right? It's 6,000-foot cliff, a river, and a 6,000-foot cliff. But the way you sell this smart wall is that it's actually making us more efficient. We're going to be able to do a better job of getting operational control over our border. And the price tag for a concrete structure, $24.5 million. Smart wall, less than $500,000 a mile. This is per mile, by the way.
Right.
So that's a $24 million difference per mile. Let's use some of that money and give it back to the American people in their pockets. Let's use some of that money to pay down our debt so we can be more efficient. And what we have to do is we have to think of the entire 2,000 miles of border at the same time. We can't just focus at one area, because then the bad guys are going to adapt and move somewhere else.
It's sort of a natural segue. We heard from the president obviously come out pretty hard about against MS-13, a very violent gang that certainly targets young immigrant communities. So I want to ask you, is this particular proposal also tie into that? Is this going to reduce violence? Do you foresee this helping the president's efforts?
It absolutely will. When you get operational control of your border, you're going to be able to stop drugs from coming in the country. You're going to be able to stop people coming here illegally. One of the other things that we need to do is we need to increase the amount of intelligence that we're collecting on the 19 criminal organizations. I know we're focused on MS-13 right now, but there are 19 organizations that are part of trafficking drugs here and human smuggling. And the problem is we haven't made these groups a national intelligence priority. As you know, I spent 9.5 years as an undercover officer in the CIA, and I chased bad guys all across the world. And these folks that are operating south of our border are not hiding in caves. We know where they are. So let's increase intelligence on them, and let's work with our partners in Mexico to stop them before they get to our border.
So even though there was, my last question, Congressman, there was so much focus on MS-13 on Friday. Are you pleased that there was that attention? I know you mentioned that there's at least 19 other organizations that probably need to be in the national headlines, but they're not. But does this help?
Oh, it absolutely helps. The focus on this, the focus on MS-13, one of the most brutal of the drug trafficking organizations, and the bigger is they're a criminal enterprise. The fact that there's focus from the White House is a good thing. We got to stop these folks from bringing in drugs into our communities, and having this focus on them here is important, but let's extend our reach and stop them before they come here, and let's work with our allies south of our border in order to do that.
All right, Congressman, thank you for joining us, and of course, we look forward to your progress in this proposal. We wish you the best of luck, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Congressman Will Hurd. I just want to say thanks for watching. Click subscribe below if you want to get updates on new clips, and I'm interested to hear what you think about what you just saw, so leave us a comment.